Scrambled eggs are boring. I'm tired of cereal. I can't eat another pancake. I'm sick of oatmeal.
Wow! Has that ever happened to you? That happens a lot at our house. Kids are sick of eating the same old, same old. So what do you do as a mom or a dad, right? Well, today on The Hesitant Homesteader, we've got a solution. I've got 2 great recipes for you that you can use to make your kids happy and healthy for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first recipe I'd like to share is for a quiche. Now I know what you're thinking, who has time to make quiche, right? But this one you will, because it doesn't have a crust. So if you're gluten-free or you just don't want to waste the time making that, you can put this crustless quiche together in just a few minutes. And what's also nice is we're going to bake this in a pie dish, and you can put it in the oven and you can do other things while that's baking. So just briefly, for this recipe, it's going to be cheese, bacon, and potato, because my family are some meat and potato eaters and we like to have a good hearty breakfast. But with this recipe, or the next one that I'll tell you about, you can have these for breakfast or lunch or dinner. So what we're going to do is we have some eggs and we have some half and half. And that is what's different between an omelet or a frittata and quiche. And so what we're going to do is, this is like a master recipe, so if you can remember this, for every egg yolk, you're going to do a half a cup of half and half. Alright, so this crustless quiche has got potatoes. I used russet potatoes, and you can see it here, they're in a small dice. I've got a small dice on a white onion. We've got shredded Colby Jack cheese. We've got some nice thick cut bacon, and we have cut these into fat strips like this, and we're going to fry these in the skillet. And we've got 2 whole eggs and 2 large egg yolks and 2 cups of half and half, and then we're going to season that to taste with some sea salt, some freshly ground pepper, and some basil. So let's get started. So I am working with a 10-inch ceramic coated non-stick skillet. And we've put all of the bacon in here, and we're just going to saute that in the pan till it's about halfway done, and then we're going to add our onions and cook them together. Bacon is halfway done at this point, so we're going to go ahead and add our diced onion. This is 1 cup of diced onion, and we're going to let these continue to cook together so they finish at the same time. Alright, so while our bacon and onions are cooking on the stove, we're going to go ahead and add our half and half to our eggs and egg yolk. We're going to put in a nice couple of pinches of sea salt, freshly ground pepper. We are adding about a half a teaspoon of dried basil. Alright, so this is exactly where I want it to be. And get in there close. The bacon is nice and caramelized and getting crisp. The onions have browned and caramelized. And so that's developed all the great flavor that we want. And man, I wish you could smell this. So we're going to pull this off the burner and set this aside. Okay, so into the exact same pan over medium heat, we're going to add some olive oil, about 2 to 3 tablespoons, and right in with our diced potatoes. So we are going to steam fry these, and so we're just going to add a lid. These potatoes have been soaking in water to pull some of the starch out. And so we drained it, but there's plenty of moisture. And so when I put the lid on, it's going to cook from the steam from around it and also direct heat from the bottom of the pan. All right, so after about 7 to 8 minutes with the lid on, I've tested these potatoes and they're now to the point where they're soft enough to eat and they're cooked properly. So we're going to take the lid off and we're going to let that water evaporate. I've turned the heat up just a little bit to above medium, and I've put a couple of pinches of sea salt and a couple of grinds of fresh ground pepper in there. And then we're just going to continue to saute these just a little bit, because now we want to brown them and add a little bit of crispiness to it. So that'll probably take about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're going to add that into our bacon and onion, and we're going to add it to the pan and get this in the oven. Potatoes are done, and we're just going to put those right in with our bacon and onions. Okay, we're at our last step, and this is going to go fast. So all we've got here is a buttered 9-inch glass pie plate, and we're going to put in about half of our potato and onion mixture, and we're going to spread that evenly around the bottom, and then we're going to put half of our cheese, sprinkle that evenly, and then we're going to go with the next layer and the remaining portion of our bacon and onion and potato mixture. Take our egg mixture here. I'm just going to drizzle that. Just going to take our spatula and just kind of gently poke through in a few areas and kind of wiggle it a little bit to make sure that the eggs, the custard here, settles down into that. And we're just going to pop that into an oven for approximately 30 minutes. We'll check it and we'll see what goes from there. All right, we just finished up putting our crustless quiche in the oven, and now we're on to recipe numero 2. And this is a frittata. So if you've never had a frittata, it's basically a large omelet. It's the Italian style of an omelet. But instead of serving one, it can serve a crowd, which makes it great for a family. So the one that I'm going to make is a little bit different. It is paleo friendly and it's delicious. And it's got a special ingredient at the end I'll tell you about. So what we've got here is 8 ounces of fresh chorizo, Mexican chorizo. We've got 6 ounces of crumbled queso fresco. If you're not familiar with that, it comes in a large block like this, and it kind of crumbles like feta cheese. We've got 6 ounces of that. I've got some fire roasted green chilies that are mild. You just get those canned from the grocery. We've got some finely chopped 2 cups worth of kale. Starts out with the big leaves like this, kind of the caveman kale. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 large eggs. And so on the stove behind me, we went ahead, just like we did with the last recipe, I've got some finely diced sweet potatoes. And those are steam frying right now. And so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna brown our chorizo, and when it gets about halfway through, we're going to add our kale and let those finish cooking together. So this is set over medium-high heat. And just be sure you want to keep moving the chorizo around to make sure that it's all broken up into small pieces. And we just added our 2 cups of kale. We're going to mix that in. It smells super good. The nice cumin and the smoky peppers from the chorizo seasoning. And then you get that nice nuttiness from this kale. So I'm just pulling our sweet potatoes off. These are all done, and we're just going to put those in the same dish here as our kale and chorizo. And we're going to let this sit just for a moment off the heat while I whisk our eggs, and we'll come right back and we'll finish our frittata. Alright, so back into the exact same non-stick skillet, we are going to add all of our other ingredients. Our chorizo, our kale, our sweet potato. And just get that mixed around just a little bit to make sure it's all incorporated. Kind of shake it down. This is over medium heat. And I've got my broiler set to high. And now we're going to go ahead and put our egg mixture right over the top. So at this point, we've got the bottom and the sides cooked. The inside is going to continue to slowly cook. I've turned the heat down. We are going to add our queso to the top of this. And then while it's still a little bit wet at the top, we're going to poke this down in. Smooth everything out before we go under the broiler to finish it. Check that in just a couple of minutes and we'll see how it looks. So the secret ingredient that we added into our egg mixture is essential oil of cilantro. This is a perfect seasoning to go into our egg mixture because the essential oil is liquid. It's going to distribute uniformly. It will not add or change the texture by adding chopped cilantro. And we have found with my family that this does not have that soapy taste that a lot of folks that don't like cilantro, it's a turn-off to them. This doesn't have it, and it adds a wonderful aromatic quality to this dish. Now, the first time I did this, I used 3 drops. So this essential oil is that powerful, 3 drops. My kids thought it was a little bit too much. My wife and I loved it, so this time I did 2 drops. So when it comes out of the oven, we'll see what everybody thinks. All right, we're gonna, now the moment of truth. Our frittata has been under the broiler on high for about 6 minutes, and we're going to pull this out, see how that looks. Looks great, smells great. You smell that cilantro. And so now, because we're going to eat this right away, I'm going to put this right onto my cutting board here, but be sure to go around the edges and make sure it's loose, because in a perfect world we can get this to slide right out. Now, the true Italian way, I've been told, to do frittata is you really would take a plate, put it on top, flip this. You wouldn't have used the broiler. You would have cooked both sides of your frittata in the skillet on the stove top. it gets a bit dicey for people, and so I chose to do it this way because I don't think anybody wants to get a bunch of hot eggs and burn themselves or waste their dinner. So we're gonna do it, we did it this way. Nice taps. Here we go. That is your paleo-friendly sweet potato, chorizo, kale, and queso fresco with cilantro oil frittata. Enjoy. I think all of our panel of esteemed judges and taste testers all gave us the thumbs up for approval. So we hope you like our video and subscribe. I promise that we'll keep dishing up good recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you can make on your homestead to make your family happy. And remember, sit down and have family meals together. It's a great time to connect and be together. Right, Hudson?
Yeah.
Okay.